Ange, Giannetti, Deposition, Part 4. We're going to start with pages 244 to 245. Did she tell you that she felt uncomfortable about Justin speaking with her and I think his trainer? Hudson, objection. And I can't recall if she told me specifically that herself or someone told me that she did. Friedman, was that someone Justin? I think it was everyone. I think it was Justin, Jamie, and Alex. Did Justin explain to you why he was asking about what her weight might be? Yes. What did he say to you? In one of the scenes, he had to lift her, and he had a bad back, and he wanted to know how much she weighed so that he could lift her. And what he did say is, I think, not be embarrassed, like he wanted to be able to do the scene. And did he explain to you that he was concerned about a back injury that he had suffered? Yeah, he had mentioned that. Yeah, he was worried about his back. Did you know that he had suffered a back injury previously? I didn't. Hudson, objection. Friedman, 33. Exhibit 33, marked for identification. Friedman, Exhibit 33 is a text exchange. Between yourself and Blake Lively on May 15th and 16th. It's bait stamp BL7941 and BL7942. Do you know what this text was about? Hudson, objection. And no. Friedman, maybe. Sure, what is it about? I think this is for the end of the movie and we're supposed to show time passing. Is that, I'm not actually sure, actually. Did Blake Lively tell you that Justin or Jamie had done anything that made her feel uncomfortable on the set on May 15 or May 16? I don't recall. Did you learn that Blake Lively believed? We leap down to pages 295 to 296. Was Ryan Reynolds her manager? No. He was her husband, correct? Correct. Part of what Blake was complaining about in these protections was what she thought was sexist behavior, correct? I don't know. She asked her husband to talk to her studio on a movie in his capacity as her husband, correct? Hudson, objection. And I don't know. Friedman, Todd Black was hired as the A-list producer, correct? Correct. Did Wayfarer agree to the 17-point list? Objection. And I don't know the wording, but yes, we agreed to the protection so she would return to work. Friedman, did you talk with anyone at Wayfarer about why they agreed to the 17-point list? No, I knew why. Why? Hudson, objection. And because there was a tremendous amount of money that had been invested and spent, and we had to finish the movie or it was unreleasable. Friedman, did Blake Lively threaten to leave the movie if the 17-point list wasn't signed without alteration or revision? Hudson, objection. And that's my understanding. Friedman, do you recall telling Jamie Heath that you thought Blake was an effing terrorist? Hudson, objection. And yes. Friedman, at that point in time, how much money had Sony invested in the movie? Well, I believe the ingoing budget was 28 million and change. We had 3 weeks left. I'm at least, we're going to jump to pages 299 through 307. Friedman, well, her role in the movie continued to grow, correct? Hudson, objection. And I didn't notice any change. Friedman, what about editing? Well, that's post. You're still talking about production. If we're moving to post, it's a whole different ballgame. Why do you say it's a whole different ballgame in post? Because it's a whole different ballgame. Can you explain to me what you mean by that? I'm saying I did not notice any distinct change from Blake on the set before strike, after strike, other than she was happier and we did good work. So that felt more consistent. Post was very not consistent. Did you understand that a formal HR process had not yet occurred, as stated in the letter with the 17-point list? Hudson, objection. And I didn't know about any HR. I never heard about any HR complaints. Friedman, so that's a yes? That's a yes. Had Blake Lively made an HR complaint to Sony? Hudson, objection. And not that I know of. Friedman, do you have any reason to believe that Blake Lively had filed an HR complaint with Wayfarer? Hudson, objection. And no. Friedman, when it says that the complaints of our client and others have been repeatedly conveyed and well documented throughout pre-production and photography, what did you understand that to mean? Hudson, objection. That she was very vocal about things that she didn't like. Friedman, I'm referring right now to Exhibit 19. Okay, so what's the question? I direct your attention to 30. What's marked 3514 on the bottom? 3514. Hold on. And it states in the first paragraph, the last line, as read, the complaints of our client and others have been repeatedly conveyed and well documented throughout pre-production and photography. Did you know that to be true? No. Had you seen any documentation of the complaints referred here to by Miss Lively? Hudson, objection. No. Friedman, had you seen any complaints in writing of anyone else on the set? Hudson, objection. Friedman, as of that date. Ange, no. Friedman, do you know what complaints Lindsay Strasberg was referring to here? Hudson, objection. Ange, no. Friedman, was this email and its attachment discussed internally at Sony? Yes. Amongst who? Myself, Michael Marshall, Sanford Panich. I was not in rooms with Tom Rothman when it was discussed, but I'm sure they briefed him. Okay, what was the conclusion reached at Sony regarding this document? Hudson, objection. Ange, give her the protections. Friedman, at some point did you say, in talking to Wayfarer, Jamie, and Justin, something like, listen, we're going to get through this movie. We're going to give her what she wants. We're going to make this film. We're going to get it done. Because the only thing that matters is making this film. Hudson, objection. Ange, often. Friedman, often? Often. At some point, did you discuss with Jamie and Justin that Blake Lively's biggest fear is that she will go onto set and not be liked? Hudson, objection. Ange, I don't recall that. Friedman, did anyone at Sony discuss this document with Miss Lively? Hudson, objection. Ange, not that I know of. Friedman, did anyone at Sony discuss this document with Lindsay Strasberg? Hudson, objection. Ange, not that I know of. Friedman, did anyone at Sony discuss this document with David Weber? Objection. Ange, I don't know. Friedman, do you know who David Weber is? Yes. Did anyone at Sony discuss this document with anyone at Wayfarer? Hudson, objection. Ange, I believe Michael Marshall discussed it with Wayfarer. Friedman, okay, take a short break. Ange, yeah. Videographer, the time is 6:48 p.m. off record. Recess. Videographer, the time is 7:08 p.m. We're back on record. Friedman, good evening now. Good evening. Were you invited to attend a meeting on January 4, 2024 at Blake's apartment? I believe I asked for that meeting. You asked for the meeting? Was that supposed to be the return to work production meeting? I thought it was a script meeting. Did anyone tell you before what you were walking into? Hudson, objection. Ange, no. But Blake did say when we confirmed time and place that she wanted to do a clearing of the air at the beginning. And I was like, great. Friedman, were you surprised by what you heard at that meeting? Very. What surprised you about it? Many things surprised me. I was surprised at the beginning that Ryan was joining the meeting because I thought we were going to be talking about the script and the schedule. And then they asked for the line producer to leave because we had was it the line producer or I don't know. We had someone technical from the set to leave, which was fine. And then she proceeded to read a list of things. It was a pretty shocking list. Why was it shocking? I had not heard the majority of the things on the list. And I didn't know that. I wasn't prepared for that was that kind of meeting we were having. And isn't it true that you heard things that were prefaced with no more this or no more that? I think so, yes. Did that surprise you also? Hudson, objection. And that specifically, I don't remember focusing on. The content to me was more surprising. Friedman, and was anybody addressing Justin directly? Yeah, I mean, it was to the room, but yeah, I think it was mostly to Justin. Was Ryan Reynolds yelling at Justin? It was a very long meeting. And there were times, yes, his voice was raised. Did you feel bad for Justin? Hudson, objection. Ange, yes. Friedman, why? I think it went over 5 hours and he was visibly frozen. Who was invited to the meeting? Myself, Justin, Jamie, Alex Sachs, and I think it was the first AD or the line. I can't remember. Did Todd Black talk to you about his reaction to the meeting? At length. Did he tell you it was one of the harshest meetings he had ever been to in his entire career? He did. And what did he say about that? It was the fact that we were not prepared for such that we thought something else was going to occur and the length of the meeting. And that there was I don't even think there was a break. It's just we never experienced that. Had you ever experienced that in your illustrious career? Hudson, objection. So we're going to jump down to the last remaining pages we have available to us, which is pages 342 to 344. In regards to nudity in the nudity rider and dailies had nudity, Hudson, if a nudity rider had a provision that required that dailies to be destroyed in certain circumstances, would it be appropriate for the dailies to have been destroyed consistent with the circumstances laid out in the nudity rider? Yes. Let's look at Exhibit 41. This is a text message between Miss Giannetti and Miss Lively dated August 11th, 2024. It's stamped BL_8024. Miss Giannetti, I'm going to draw your attention to your text to Blake Lively on August 11th. Can you read it out loud? Sure. As read, Blake, 50 million. Your blood, sweat, tears, brilliant, smarts, heart and soul in every single frame. My God is incredible. Thank you 50 million times. And it's only Saturday night. What were you referring to here? The success of the opening of the film. Was the opening of the film successful? Very. And how did it compare to other movies of the genre? Friedman, objection. Ange, it was gigantic. Hudson, was it a historically successful movie? Friedman, objection. Ange, oh, you could say that. I think that's fair. Hudson, and how much money has It Ends With Us made to date? I can't tell you to date. I can tell you to date theatrically, I think it's close to 350 million. And that is a historically large success rate for this size budget and this genre. Incredible. And the cut of the film that went to theaters was the one that Miss Lively worked on for Sony, correct? Friedman, objection. Ange, yes. Hudson, okay, no further questions. Friedman, I just have a little bit. I will ask them from here if that's okay. Ange, it's okay. Friedman, sorry about that. Ange, that's all right. Friedman, you're close though. Ange says, I know, I can feel it. Friedman, let me start by giving you a document I will ask the court reporter to mark as Exhibit 42 for identification. Stenographic reporter, here you go, Exhibit 42 for the record, Exhibit 42 marked for identification. Friedman, Exhibit 42 is an exchange between, it looks like Josh Greenstein and yourself, and is dated September 3, 2024. Uh-huh. Do you recognize the document? That is the last of the pages made available to us from the deposition of Ange Giannetti. If you are seeing this and you haven't seen the other parts, click on the link for part 1 of this series. If you enjoyed this deposition, like and hype. And if you have not yet subscribed to me, please consider doing so. Thanks.